You're listening to Podhaven.
Welcome to The Haven, episode 1, as the inaugural episode after our little introductory episode of our new actual play D&D 5th edition podcast. I am Martyn Bryson, I'm the DM here for this campaign, so I'll let the players introduce themselves one at a time.
Hello. I play Eistla. She's a warlock of the Great Old One.
Okay, and Heath.
I'm Heath Wong. I play Graeyam Xioto, a paladin.
Okay, Gawel.
Hi, I'm Gawel Ciepielewski. I play Pry, the orc bard with ambition.
Ambition. So, Emilia.
Yes, I'll be playing Mimosa Quinwynn, a high-class noble from Kos, a foreign land, and frankly, a much better land. I will be using the monk class as the basis for my magnificence.
Elodie.
Hi, I'm Elodie, and I'm playing a bird with a knife.
Excellent. You've won.
Love that contrast between my introduction and yours.
And finally, last but not least, Martyn.
Hi,
Other
I'm
Martyn.
Martyn Docherty. I'm playing Crebbs Daintley, a hobgoblin artificer who does bad crimes.
Bad crimes.
He's
Bad.
rat-coloured and mottled. He's mottled, rat-coloured, and he's got a gun.
Sorry, I forgot to mention this last time. He does, in fact, have a gun.
Yeah, he has a
gun. He's rat-coloured, he's mottled. These are the things I know about crabs.
Fucking hell, there's energy to this recording already that I'm enjoying.
And don't worry about him doing bad crimes. He'll get better at them.
Welcome to Alaba. The first thing you need to know is that the gods are dead. Of course, death might not mean the same thing for them as it does for you, but I won't bore you with my theological ruminations right now. They're not important. The important thing is that they're not around. They haven't been for over a century, ever since the abrupt end of the God War, as it's been called by some of our more excitable historians here in Alba. Whether the disappearance was the cause of or result of the God's War's end, no one's really sure. As one of Alba's foremost historical archivists, I have a few theories that, well, I digress. And I see you're in a hurry, so I'll press on for now. Needless to say, none of their churches took this abandonment particularly well. Only in the past 30 years, give or take, has their bickering, fighting, and desperate attempts to cling to power really settled down. Of course, many of the Highland clans still keep that flame lit, but at least now they do it well away from the rest of us, which, to be frank, is for the best. This has led Alaba's people to an interesting crossroads. As our universities grow in wealth and influence, their research has grown bolder and having more profound impacts on the lives of the people. Our leaders are, slowly but surely, distancing themselves from the old ways defined by the churches and experimenting with new forms of governance. Kos, our less than friendly neighbour to the south, has tightened the security on our shared border, and in the last 2 years it's become rare indeed for anyone from Alba to cross it. Well, officially, anyway. The unofficial number is hard to know. Adventuring, of course, has a long history in Alba, but it's been seeing something of a renaissance lately. Things are changing, which means opportunities for folks inclined to that life are plentiful, either with one of Alba's few formal adventuring guilds or with a ragtag band of lovable misfits. All you have to do is reach out, take it. Wealth, fame, glory, excitement, or a nasty, painful death all await you if you do, which you get is really between you and fate. Our heroes are gathered shoulder to shoulder as at a small and crumbling but lively rural tavern. The sky is overcast and carries the smell of recent heavy rain, also evident in the deep muddy puddles that dot the well-trodden footpath. An excitable gnome in garish robes that seem to change colour as you look at them stands in front of them, eyeing the five of you, credulously for a moment, and kind of blinks. Something's not right here. Hold on just a minute. And he kind of stands there in silence for a moment, just kind of tapping his nose thoughtfully.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I'll just have you know that my clothes do not take well to prestidigitation cleaning. You will have to use manual cleaning.
Oh, I know, Mimosa. I know. I'll take care of it. Don't you worry. I know what you're like.
Well, of course you do.
But then he looks at you again. Wait, Hold on just a minute. He pushes his clenched fist into his hips in like a caricature of frustration. Oh, damn it. I'm too early, aren't I? Oh, damn it all. I knew I should have triple-checked those calculations. Okay, he puts his finger up. Could you all do me a big favour and pretend this never happened? So when you see me next, try to act surprised, okay? And most importantly, don't do anything you wouldn't have done anyway if I'd never shown up. Promise? He looks at you with a pleading expression and waiting for a response. So you all trust me, or you will, rather, and you will know at some point later that I wouldn't do this without a good reason. So I'd better leave before I mess things up even more. Bye! He makes a series of quick, rapid gestures familiar to those with who know complex spellcasting, and a small, gnome-sized portal appears behind him. The portal shows a dimly lit room with an old, cracked wooden floor and a group of heavily armed humanoid figures, their features impossible to discern, standing on the other side. One of the figures gestures at the portal, expressing surprise and confusion, but the gnome lifts a finger to his lips, and the figure, moving as though about to speak, stops quickly. The gnome gives one final, sheepish wave, then steps through the portal, which then promptly disappears.
What the fuck was that?
I think Crebbs nudges Mimosa and says, "I bloody love gnomes. They're brilliant."
Brilliant is wasting our time.
Pry looks like he's considering something for a moment, then pulls out a small notebook, scribbles something in there, and hides it behind, like in his breast pocket again.
Graeyam has been shaking his finger at the closed portal for a few seconds, opening and closing his mouth, and then he turns to the others and says, "Do you know that guy? Did you know that guy?"
No.
Yeah. I can surmise that he knows us.
I think you might be correct there. Yeah, sounds about right.
I don't want anything to do with this timey-wimey bullshit. I'm heading back.
Can I roll Arcana to see what I would know about that portal?
You can, yes. How much magic does Crebbs know exactly?
I mean, he's an artificer.
So he has some familiarity with the arcane. Yeah.
That is the first roll of the podcast, I believe. That is a natural one. So
very good. 6. Okay.
Oh, starting as we mean to go on.
Crebbs is familiar with like portal magic and various things like that. You know, Crebbs is not. It's not an uneducated hobgoblin. But he has a very vivid memory of remembering a book he read once, years ago, about exactly this kind of magic, and it could only ever be cast by a certain kind of strange, shape-shifting creature from an outer plane, who have the power to transform into anything they want and open portals in any direction. The problem is that these creatures have been extinct for centuries. So, Crebbs, you are now utterly convinced you have witnessed the last of a dead species disappear back into its home portal, never to be seen again.
He also trips over and stubs his toe because it's a nat 1.
Can I roll history to figure out where the their version of Peter is, so I can contact them and let them know?
Mimosa heads inside.
Yeah,
Sure.
I also head inside.
Martyn,
Yep.
you've mentioned that the gnome had a rather peculiar appearance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh.
He to recap, he was wearing a colourful, garish outfit that seemed to change colour as you look at it.
Like as let's say a scholar of culture. Would I have heard of any such characters in like things and stuff?
Yes, I would say you probably have seen. Okay, so here's a question about Pry that I think is going to be quite interesting going forward. How fashion is Pry?
Oh, Pry isn't like very fashion in that he doesn't dress extravagantly. He's like the most flair he's wearing is like the pointy hat, like the forward pointy hat with the big white feather. Otherwise, it's just reasonable traveling clothes worn in let's say action hero fashion.
Yeah, so he's trying to kind of embody your archetypal bard. He's going for that sort of look quite intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I kind of know where I stand with Pry there, I think. I would say, Pry, you've heard of this before. I'd probably say you haven't seen it. You're familiar with the concept, but you don't know exactly how it works or what kind of person would wear it, per se. So it gives kind of... There's it rings a bell in the back of your head, but it doesn't really... If you want to try maybe a history roll or something like that for it, I could be...
I have a +1 in that. This is a 15.
15. All right, yeah. You remember there being one specific fashionable designer down in Kos who did that, who made this kind of their signature mark. You can't remember their name or much about their actual work, but you do know there was one designer based in Kos who was very famous and quite wealthy, known for these kinds of clothes. So you can piece together from that it was probably an expensive outfit that had to be bought from a specialty boutique. So it's not the kind of outfit someone would just randomly wear. Especially not in muddy places like this, where it's just been raining, it would get covered in crap.
Okay. So this person is... So you're saying whoever this gnome is, they're minted?
Or where, at least, yeah. Okay, so someone said they were heading back into the inn.
Mimosa and Eistla.
Yeah, Mimosa and Eistla are heading back into the inn. As the two of you turn around to head back, you are your path back to it is interrupted by the arrival of a fast-moving stagecoach. Well, not a stagecoach per se, but like a coach. A fast-moving coach kind of plows through and splashes mud up all over you.
I throw an Eldritch Blast at it.
Oh.
That is a slight overreaction.
Are we getting there already? We've been here 10 minutes.
Don't surprise me like that.
Coach.
That's like opening fire with a gun on someone who splashes you with their car.
and not even the evil character with the gun did that.
It's a stagecoach. What's it gonna do?
Well, there's people inside it.
It's going to break and die.
The coach is not the problem.
I aim at the wheel then. Is that better?
No,
not really.
Oh dear. I mean,
do you actually do this?
I'm tempted to Eldritch Blast, but...
Okay, so you don't actually do it then. You're going to back away from that.
I do a rude gesture.
Okay, a rude gesture is much more acceptable.
That's how
socially speaking, yeah. I just don't want to see your character end up in prison within like 10 minutes, you know?
A rude Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, exactly. And then the coach pulls to a halt up outside the edge of the tavern, and 4 heavily armed soldiers emerge from it. They start moving towards the end. They ignore you completely and start moving towards the entrance of the tavern.
You better run, shitheads.
They're not even acknowledging you. One of them kind of glances over and kind of looks back and just doesn't acknowledge you at all. They stop outside the tavern and start whispering amongst themselves as if kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do before they enter.
Can I try to eavesdrop on their conversation?
You can. Could you roll perception, please?
Sure. Perception.
Okay. That's not bad. And for the record, again, because we discussed a little bit before we started, we want to go over some of the basic concepts because we do have a player here who has never played before, and we don't want to assume anyone listening is already familiar. So the way this game works is when you encounter something which you cannot just easily do, you roll a skill to determine how well you do it. And some characters are better than other certain things, and they get to add bonuses to the result to see how successful they are. A 10 is considered an average result. Something that's averagely difficult takes 10. Anything above a 10 is considered increasingly more difficult as it goes on. So an 11, which is what Emilia just rolled here, is a kind of an average level of success. Now, the official rules of the game state that it's a pass or fail state. Either you hit the target and you fail, or you don't hit the target, or you fail, or you hit the target and you pass. For me, I prefer to play it with more of a degree of success. So, because a 10 is a level of success by the standards of the game, and this is not a particularly difficult task, I'm going to give you some information, but kind of an incomplete picture.
Also, the just for clarification, it's a roll of 1 to 20.
Yes.
The dice, D20.
What's called a D20 in the game parlance.
In the business.
Yes. So with an 11, you're able to overhear a few scattered words. Things like the name Martyn comes up, dwarf, associate, and capture. And after finishing their hurried conversation,
And I quickly hurry past them into the bar myself and just make rude gestures at them as I enter.
Well, they are currently ahead of you and blocking the door, but they're actually just about to move into the tavern anyway, so you could follow in behind them. So they draw their weapons, swords, and they move on into the tavern as a group. So you're following them, right, Eistla? Okay, so Eistla heads inside the tavern. Anyone else want to follow?
Follows her.
I would like to use an ability artificers get at level 1 called Magical Tinkering, which basically means I can touch like a mundane object and imbue it with a bit of magic. That's sort of the whole thing artificers do. And one of the effects you can do with it is a static visual effect appears on the object's surface. The effect can be a picture, up to 25 words of text, lines and shapes, or a mixture of these elements as you like. And I'd like to take a piece of paper out of my adventurer's pack, and I'd like to give it a little enchantment so it has a picture of the dwarf on the paper. Put it in my bag for later.
So you don't know what the dwarf looks like, I would say, at this point.
No, not the dwarf, the gnome we just met. The gnome.
Okay, the gnome, right.
Sorry. Just for later, just in case. And then I can have up to 3 of them at the minute, and then it can end whenever I want it to.
Okay, cool.
In action.
That's good. That's good.
Put that way in my bag.
Anyway, yeah. So who wants to follow them into the tavern? Who wants to stay outside?
Graeyam will go
I'm
inside.
following them back into the tavern because
I'll
I
follow.
have a show to return to.
Of course you do.
It's
yeah.
true. And I'll follow.
Mimosa definitely wants to get in from the cold and the rain.
Yeah.
And
Wise.
the muds.
Wise. And go to where the cocktails are, even though they're terrible.
They're so terrible.
Yes, so as you all return and step inside the tavern, you're greeted by the familiar sounds of tavern life, of course. The patrons are still as lively as ever. Conversation kind of bubbles up into various levels throughout the building. People are slamming their drinks down and yelling and singing and are talking in animated ways, having political discussions and arguing with each other about, oh, the bartender's really into you. No, they're really into me. And, of course, the bartender's never into anyone. It's always a trick. But the bartender kind of looms over the scene, and you see him eyeing the 4 armed soldiers stepping in carefully, as if sensing trouble. And indeed, there is an atmosphere of danger about these 4 people. They are heavily armed and clearly ready for a fight. As soon as they step in, one of them steps forward, apart from the others, and scans the room as if looking for someone specific. He seems to spot his target at the far back left end of the room, and motions to the others to follow him there.
Pry, upon entering the tavern, just loudly proclaims, "Sorry everyone for the unscheduled intermission. Now back to our performance." And I go back to the area where I was I was performing before.
The stage at the far end of the bar. Yeah. A few of the patrons actually kind of raise their beers, and go, "Hey!"
And I pick a suitable tune anticipatory of a bar brawl.
Okay. So the rest of the patrons at first don't really acknowledge the soldiers, but as they pass, they kind of look around curiously, and as it becomes clearer and clearer that these 4 men are not here to start your standard brawl or to mess around, they all kind of start quieting down and slowly filtering towards the exit. There's a clear air of trouble. The 4 men approach. They make their way towards the far end of the tavern. They've cornered 2 people. One is a stocky dwarf, the other a kind of mid-sized half-orc woman. And you can't hear what they're saying over the general noise of the tavern and the sound of people putting their drinks down and leaving quiet and attempting to leave quietly, somewhat unsuccessfully. But you can tell from their body language that things are starting to get heated. The weapons are drawn, the weapons are pointed at their targets, and they are promptly arrested and clapped in irons. But as one of them, as they attempt to capture the dwarf and put him in irons, he manages to break free and runs up to Graeyam. It falls down at Graham's feet. He says, "Please, you've got to help me. They think I did it. I've been framed. I didn't do it. Find Morag out on the edge of town. She'll vouch for me. Please help."
Graeyam kneels down to try to help him stand back up. He said, "Wait, what's going on? Who framed you for what?"
Before he can speak any further, one of the soldiers steps up, grabs him by the back of his collar, and pulls him away. Throws him into the others, and they then successfully clap him in irons and start leading both of the prisoners out the door.
Hey, hang on just a minute. What's this about? What did they do?
Go away. None of your business.
So the uniforms they're wearing. Are we in a city right now? A town?
You're in a kind of a rural village.
Okay.
Their uniforms don't look like any local authority that you know of.
Yeah.
You're from Alaba, so you are somewhat familiar with some of the local authorities, but these don't look like that. They do look like a uniform of some kind. Actually, I'm going to ask Graeyam, could you roll history for me?
Yes, I don't have a modifier, but I'll give it a shot.
I was about to ask, could I roll investigation or history as well?
I rolled a 5.
You got a 5. Okay. You've not been outside of your cloister long enough to know a lot of the different authorities here. Alaba is quite decentralized, so a lot of the various groups who have power here, they're not really united in any meaningful way, which means that there's a lot of different uniforms and protocols to learn, a lot of different people in charge of the various different things. So it's really hard to keep track of, especially for someone who's grown up isolated like that. So you're not familiar with who they are. Crebbs, if you roll investigation, I might be able to tell you some things.
Yeah, I'll roll investigation to see if I do better this time. Oh, 23 and a 25, but I didn't get advantage.
Crebbs, you don't know exactly what they are, but you do recognise from the kind of weapons they carry and from the way they wear their armour, and specifically from the kind of pattern they wear, that these are soldiers from one of the Highland clans. Now, specifically, you recognise this because they wear over their armour a plaid. If those not familiar, a plaid is the progenitor to the contemporary Scottish kilt. It is a single piece of cloth that drapes over one shoulder and wraps around the waist, held together with a brooch. And they're very, very long. They're hard wearing, intended for cold weather. These clans often wear them more out of a sense of religious or historical tradition than any real need to. But this is how you recognise a lot of the Highland clans. They wear their clan plaid over their armour as a show of loyalty to their particular clan. You can't tell. Your knowledge of the clans isn't really strong enough to know exactly what clan they belong to or what their politics would be, but you do know that's what they are, which makes them...
I was about to ask to roll history on that, but fair enough.
Yeah, it makes them kind of unpredictable, kind of dangerous.
Okay.
You could probably figure it out with more clues. If you get more information on them, you might be able to work it from there, and I might ask you then to roll and see if you can figure that out.
Okay, I got you.
Is Crebbs particularly religious, would you say?
Crebbs... I think Crebbs gives he gives a lip service worship to I believe there's a god of invention, but he views himself as a very devoted follower. There's a god of crime, essentially, that you've or just crime that you've created, and so he's mainly focused on that one, I think.
I could take this opportunity to introduce a little about that stuff that you would know offhand anyway. So the god that Crebbs is kind of a believer in. Would you say the god of kind of just crime and rebellion is what you prefer for Crebbs there?
Yes, because I think Crebbs views himself very much as because as we sort of established, he's quite pretentious. Goblin views himself as all of his crimes he does as being of the utmost justness, and in reality, he is smuggling weapons. So
what Crebbs is referring to here is Diona. Diona Caravana Sarsa, Diona, Chariot of Freedom. What's widely known about Diona is that Diona was a god of insurrection, rebellion, and just crime. Many smugglers and bandits who think themselves above the common rabble worship her. She was thought to respect and protect those who used cleverness and were thoughtful about their actions, while condemning those who were mindlessly violent and chose their targets indiscriminately or betrayed the trust of their comrades. It's not uncommon for clerics of Diona to act as de facto defence lawyers for captured criminals or rebels, as the approval of her church used to carry some real weight in a law of Alba. Many of Diona's followers believed that the failure of a plan or rebellion was a sign of her disapproval. When things seemed to be going wrong, they would seek out those among their number who had displeased her and purge them, often violently. Murderers of the innocent, spies, snitches, and those who took more than their fair share of the loot were common targets of these purges, for reasons I think that should be fairly obvious. Often the victims of these purges were left somewhere public, as a way for a gang or rebel group to prove their good intentions to the people. She's typically depicted in one of two ways: a tall, powerfully built elven woman with long red hair riding a red horse, or as a pillar of bright red flame. That's what you all would just casually know about this god. It's one of the few gods that still maintains some kind of real presence in Alba culture. So it's fairly common knowledge what she represents and what her followers believe. So yeah, that's something about Crebbs that we've all learned there. That's interesting.
Fun little bit. The god of good crimes, basically.
Yes, yeah, basically.
Cool.
And rebellion and things like that. It's essentially a very kind of archetypal, chaotic, good kind of figure.
Sounds like my kind
Well, that's not what my character is at all. Oh dear.
That doesn't mean he doesn't think of himself that way, you know? That's kind of the important thing.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going for with it as well.
Morality is very relative like that.
Yes.
At this point, I think Eistla is just like doing her prestidigitation first on herself, and then she's gonna offer the other people.
Mimosa sort of first.
I think she doesn't offer Mimosa.
Okay.
At first, at least.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, Mimosa sort of
slagged off prestidigitation.
One person at a time, please. Could be just kind of stop trying not to talk over each other.
Yeah, Mimosa definitely she looks at Eistla and scoffs, and then takes another good look at her clothes, sidles next to Eistla. Do you think you could? I would be eternally grateful to you if you could, perform your magics on my clothes.
I thought your clothes didn't do well with prestidigitation.
They do not, but this is an emergency.
Right.
Okay, Pry, you were saying?
I was just saying that she did slag off, but actually Pry is probably going to do the moment he sees the commotion with the guards and the dwarf, he's going to break the performance mid-chord and go "Good sirs, why are you just spoiling everyone's good evening with this?"
One of the guards actually stops and looks around at you. And says, "What do you want? Leave us alone. We're just getting out of here." And the others one of the others kind of looks at him, shoots him a glance and looks at him as if they don't say anything to these people, and then grabs him by the shoulder and kind of steers him out the door to join the others. They've now all exited the tavern. They're gone back outside.
Right.
With the dwarf.
Yes, with the dwarf and the half-orc companion.
Crebbs would like to sort of... Oh, sorry, carry on.
Graeyam will follow them,
Okay.
stammering slightly, but he'll say, "This is a public place. You can't just snatch people out of the tavern without explanation. I demand to know what's going on here."
Crebbs is quite curious, so he's going to follow, but because these are all guards, he's going to use stealth to sort of kind of try blend in and not make it obvious that he's following them.
Okay, sure. Could you roll stealth for that, please? Which I'm going to kind of... because I don't like to necessarily have players repeatedly making the same rolls over and over again, what I tend to do is extend a skill roll over an entire sequence. So if you roll perception once, I won't make you keep doing it for the same scene over and over again. I will just let you use that score multiple times in the same sequence.
Lovely. That's 22 then for stealth.
Very good, very good. Yeah, you're able to blend in quite effectively, which is odd for a hobgoblin. There aren't a lot of you out here, but you've gotten pretty good at knowing how to make yourself unnoticed. One of the advantages.
He's only 5 foot, so.
Yeah, one of the advantages of being shorter than most humans and elves is that you're able to kind of evade their notice quite effectively.
Also, the ground is also mottled and rat-coloured.
It is also mottled and rat-coloured, yes.
And has a gun.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
The ground has a gun. It's going to be the real final boss of the campaign. Yeah. So you're able to follow them. Are you following them outside?
Yeah. Go on. I'll follow them outside. I'm just quite curious what's going on here.
Okay, sure. What's everyone else? Is anyone else kind of curious? We've got Graeyam and Crebbs following them out.
I am begrudgingly finishing off the prestidigitation on Mimosa.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna follow him, because fuck it, we're in it now, I guess.
Okay, yeah. Pry, what did you want to do?
After Graeyam says that you can't just take these people like that. Pry is going to follow, going like, yeah, what he said.
Shaking your fist behind him.
Mimosa overhears that and her ears perk up, and she stands up from her chair and starts following you. Hey, it's the law. Let them do their thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
The law hand.
Okay,
The law hand of the long. Let the law hand of the long do its business.
I don't think this is the law.
Okay, Graeyam, you emerge first, so you are the first to see this. You notice the 4 heavily armed soldiers kind of bundling the 2 prisoners into the coach alongside them, closing up the door and all coming in afterwards. First of all, do you want to intervene at all, or are you going to are they just going to be able to do this?
I'm not sure I have the confidence about the situation to actually start any shit just yet, so no.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure, because I know some
Yeah.
characters want to get right, and there's some want to hold back and get in, folks. I want to get a sense of who Graeyam is exactly, I think. Okay, yeah, so they bundled their prisoners into the coach, and they set off back down the way they came.
Do I stop them? No? We're just gonna let them go?
You can try. You emerge a little later than Graeyam, so by the time you get out, they're already moving again, but you can attempt to stop them if you want.
Yeah, no, I'm asking.
Well, I tried. They didn't listen.
Yeah, but do we stop them, or?
Well,
Wouldn't we let them go? But then this never happened.
Is it Mimosa's counterpoint? We could not.
the dwarf, he spoke to me before they took him. He said that he's been set up.
He looked genuinely panicked too. It didn't look like he's trying to fake it to get out of something. He looked like there was tears streaming down his face. He was sweating. He looked in a real panic.
He told me to find somebody who could vouch for him. Morag was the name, I think.
Morag, yes, Morag.
On the east side of town, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coach is still visible. It's now laden with people, so it's not moving particularly fast, but it is quickly getting out of sight. So if you want to do something with the coach, now would be the time. But if not, you can follow other avenues.
I'm just saying, I can hit it.
Can I use the cantrip message?
Okay. What do you want to do with that?
Can I try and message the dwarf?
So it's what's called a cantrip. Now a cantrip is a kind of spell. It's also called a level 0 spell. Normally in D&D, a spell, when to cast it, costs a spell slot. It's a limited number of times you can cast a spell of a specific level. A cantrip is a level 0 spell, meaning that you can cast it without using a spell slot, which is very useful for some situations. In the case of Message, it has a range of 120 feet, has a duration of 1 round, and you point your finger toward a creature within range and whisper a message. The target, and only the target, hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. You can cast this spell through solid objects if you're familiar with the target and know it is beyond the barrier. Magical silence, 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood blocks the spell. What I'm going to say, you've seen this dwarf, you know roughly in this fairly small coach where he would be kept. I'm going to allow you to do this.
Okay. Krebs messages the dwarf and goes, "All right, mate. Where? Do you know where they're taking you?"
You hear a whisper back. "They're taking me to a camp outside town. They're holed up there. Please, you have to come. Please get Morag. Please vouch for me."
All right. We'll see. We'll go find Morag for you. And he finishes with a bit of Sylvan to sound sophisticated. He goes, "Au revoir." And that's Krebs's message, Captain. So he turns to the rest of the party and says, "They're taking our shorter friend there to a camp outside of town." He says to get Morag and come find him.
I'm very sorry to any French listeners.
I think, Hellen, you're particularly invested in that.
Oh, I don't mind personally.
Also, a fun fact about artificers is that to cast a spell, they have to have their arcane focus in their hands. So I guess he was, and in this case, it can be a pair of thieves' tools for an artificer. So I guess he was jangling keys towards the the thing to cast the spell. Is the visual image for that?
You have to use the arcane baby.
Yeah.
Okay, Graeyam, I'm kind of curious how you feel about this, because you are pretty dead set on helping this guy. What do you think? What do you feel is the best approach to take here?
I think Graeyam thinks that the best thing to do is to go find Morag, because that seemed to be what the dwarf wanted them to do, and he's the only one who actually... And Graeyam has no context for any of what's happening, so...
Sure, okay. Right, so I guess the next question is, how do you find Morag? Because the dwarf, in his circumstances, was not particularly forthcoming with information about Morag, but it is a small town. Someone somewhere is bound to know.
Yes, I think I would probably just head to the indicated area of the town and probably just start asking around.
Maybe we could just ask the bartender.
Yeah, ask shopkeepers, anybody who runs some sort of local business or stall.
You say indicated area of town, but really this is just a street with
Okay.
some houses. There's not really much here, so you can just pick a place of business somewhere and find someone to ask for sure. The nearest one, obviously, being the tavern.
Krebs would like to ask Graeyam. Excuse me, mate. Are you a police officer?
The player in me is extremely offended, but but I suppose I did bring it on myself by running a paladin. No, just a concerned citizen, I guess.
All right, lovely.
Concerned
Thank you.
citizen.
Just curious.
Okay, I want to get a little bit of a sense of what Eistla is feeling about this, what Eistla's thinking and kind of wants to do here.
I don't think Eistla really knows. Things are just kind of happening around her, so and it's better than just being stuck in a stupor, so let's just do it.
Kind of going with the flow then. All right.
Yeah.
And how about Mimosa? I know that there's going to be some tension there, so I'm very curious.
Mimosa's going to tag along, and mostly it's because she is curious about who these kidnappers are.
Okay, so more out of a sense of curiosity than anything else. Kind of, you've because by this point, if I remember correctly, Mimosa has been sort of aimlessly wandering Alba for a little bit. So it's really unsure what she wants or where she's going with this. So something like this happening might at least be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I
We,
mean,
we also I guess it makes sense for you to be sort of sticking around because I don't know if I mentioned it to you last session, Martyn. We were thinking the way Mimosa got into town was being smuggled in by Crebbs.
We talked about it.
okay. Yeah, I like that, and it also means that you have a reason to stay close to Crebbs because it's kind of the only person you know here. Yeah. Okay. I like that. Okay. So, how do you want to start your search for Morag?
Well, first, I would probably just mention to the others, so I'm going to try to help that guy that they just took. Anybody who wants to come with me is free to do so. My name is Graeyam, I guess.
I'm in. I'm Eistla.
I'm Pry. I'm here for this.
Yes, my name is Crebbs, by the way. Lovely to meet you.
Do we think we can just ask the bartender in there first? I feel like that's close.
That was my plan.
Yep. Okay. Assuming you return to the tavern, it's now quiet. The bartender looks pissed off about it too. I say, "Oh, busy for those bastards came in here and scared off all my customers."
Do you have any idea who they were?
They're one of the clans up north. I think those bastards always pushing people around. They don't come down here much. There's not much here for them. I don't know why they're here, but I'm sick of their. Anyway, as my only remaining customers, can I interest you in a drink?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm good, thanks.
I think Graeyam abstains because I imagine he probably still has just sort of instinctive religious rules against imbibing.
That's fair. Okay. So, do you want a water or something?
Yeah, sure.
I've got water. All right, yeah. It pours you a cup of water. Anything I can help you folks with? Encourage you to stay here a bit longer.
Do you know anybody who called Morag?
Oh, Morag. That name rings a bell.
Yeah, the dwarf just said it.
What do you want with Morag?
I don't know. The dwarf
Dwarfs
said that
want
they
us
could
to
vouch
find.
for him.
Oh, right. Yeah, Martyn. All right. Are you helping? Are you looking to help Martyn?
Yeah, got to.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where you can find Morag. Morag lives on a wee cottage, just like a half mile from here, to the north, just on the edge of the village. You'll know it because there is a large kind of rooster on the roof that just attacks anyone who gets too close. So be wary of that.
Cock that one.
It's harmless, really, but it's a bit of a bastard. But yeah, it's a rooster will be sitting up there, and you'll know Morag's cottage for that. So if you head up there, I'm sure she'll help you out there. Morag and Martyn are close, so it's probably a good place to start.
What can you tell me about Morag?
I don't know much. I'll be honest. Those two, they've been around here a long time, but I don't know much about them. They don't really. They kind of keep to themselves, if you know what I mean. Kind of winks at you.
What?
I'm guessing Graeyam does not know what he means.
No, he has no idea.
Crebbs, you probably do know what he means.
What does he mean? Martyn, our character, doesn't know what he means.
He seems to be hinting that that the way they make their living might not be entirely above board.
Crebbs, after taking a bit too long to realise that, goes and taps his nose.
Graeyam just looks at him weird. Does your nose itch?
Yes, lots. It's my nose hurts. So I've got too many allergies. I'm just saying that again so I don't forget it.
It's allergy season, you know. Whatever.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know you had allergies.
Was that out of character? Or was that in character?
In character.
I was like, I need to do more character work in future then to establish these allergies better. Crebbs sneezes.
Yeah, the bartender kind of describes roughly where you...
offers Crebbs a handkerchief.
For God's sake.
That's a nice gesture. The bartender kind of describes the road you have to take to reach Morag's place and just kind of looks a bit upset. Goes back to being upset that the soldiers scared away all his customers.
Okay, I say we go find Morag then.
Yeah, all right.
All right,
Good
yeah.
to me.
It's early in the morning, so the sun is still pretty high in the sky, even though it's mostly covered by the overcast clouds. The rain is it's still kind of sticking to the ground, if you know what I mean. It's not been raining now for a little while, but nonetheless, there's still wet grass and damp mud everywhere. It makes the going not difficult, but annoying.
Crebbs turns to Mimosa and goes, "Be careful, there's mud there." Just
After about 20 minutes of winding farm roads and footpaths, you do eventually see the thatched roof cottage with the large, angry-looking rooster sitting on top, eyeing you carefully.
Pry walks up to the rooster and just says hi.
Well, the rooster is on the roof, so it's just kind of looking down at you from like 20 feet up.
So it's
So you might say it's a
rooster.
roofster.
Yeah, you might, yeah. You got two of you made the same pun at the same time.
Jesus. It's not even a...
Well, not quiet. Heath had an S in there.
Oh, yeah, of course. The roofster is kind of just eyeing you carefully, and it bristles a little as you get closer, but doesn't react otherwise.
I still wave at it and say hi.
The rooster kind of turns its head to one side and eyes you.
This is a really threatening rooster.
As you approach the cottage, though, you do notice something is amiss. The door is hanging off its hinges and the lock is broken.
Oh, that's no good.
Oh. I storm in and light up the place with dancing lights.
Magic missile. Oh.
Okay, Elodie, you're up.
Finally.
So,
Took us about an hour and a half.
sorry about that.
I got so bored I wrote a giant piss in the funniest font.
I had intended to get here a little faster, but it did take a little longer than I thought. Gharial,
Sorry.
you...
Elodie, do you want to describe your character? I don't know if you described them yet.
Okay, no.
Because we haven't introduced Gharial yet, so let's do that now.
Gharial Polyp, whose name is just two words that she liked, said by different people, and is pronounced by her Gharial Polyp. But like we don't have to do that every time. That's just
please do.
The specific saying of them that she took. She's a kenku, which is a bird friend. She's a magpie-looking kenku, and she is very interested in words, because kenku, if you don't know, can't speak on their own. They can only mimic other sounds. And she wants to speak, but the only way that she can speak is by taking other people's words. And she doesn't like it when they still have those words, if she likes them enough, because they have to be her words. So she kills people if she likes their words enough.
We're joining Gharial, and as Elodie suggested, in medias res. Currently hunched over the body of a stocky, bearded human man. Blood still... Is it a knife you use?
I used my dagger.
Your dagger, yeah. Blood still dripping from your dagger. And with the kind of cowering form of the halfling Morag in the corner, just kind of looking up at you. Oh, thank the gods you showed up. I thought I was done for. Oh God. Oh, okay. Oh.
Want knife too? Want knife too?
Want
knife?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Do you want? Have knife.
I mean, I appreciate you killing that guy. He was, he was a bad guy.
Yeah, sure. Kill you too?
No, please don't. No, that's fine. Would you like some tea? So yeah, Pry, you stumble into this scenario. You see Gharial at one end of the room, like the dagger dripping with blood, and over the body of like a stocky bearded man. And in the corner, a halfling woman kind of hunched over on her knees, just kind of catching her breath and clearly just coming down from a moment of sheer panic.
You don't have name. You don't have name.
No name, no.
You don't have it. You didn't take it too.
No, you can have his name. It's he doesn't want it anymore.
Yes, I have You didn't take it.
I didn't. I couldn't take it. I'm glad you're here to take it for me.
Don't let me hear you say it.
Okay. Question: Is the dead guy perhaps wearing the same colors as the guys who took Martyn away?
Now, this is where it's interesting. He is not wearing the same outfit, but he is wearing the same plaid. So he's wearing like a much more battle-worn, older, kind of less organized and official-looking armor, but his plaid is kind of slung loosely over one shoulder. And you piece together from this that he works for them, but as a mercenary. Well, worked for them.
Yeah, because he's dead.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's dead.
He'll
He's
probably
very
get-
retired.
He can get sued for breach of contract, I see.
Yeah. For damaging clan property. Yeah.
Crebbs walks in and goes, "Oh, holy shit! Well met, bird person."
And the halfling woman in the corner kind of looks to you. As, who are you? Are you more? Are you more of them?
No.
You were
Only one of me.
She kind of sits back on her haunches and kind of looks relieved for a second.
Martyn asked us to look for you.
Martyn, what's happened to
Me?
Martyn? Did they come for him too?
They met me?
No,
Look for me.
No, not you.
her. And I pointedly point to Morag.
Something wrong?
No.
I walk up to Morag and help her up.
Yeah, she kind of stands up and dusts herself off.
And Gharial in the background is just making the sound of a woodpecker tapping against a tree. And apparently amusing herself with that, but it's very distracting for everyone else.
So something
But
akin to
she's
this.
also holding a big bloody knife, so...
Hey, you're cute, Burb. Mind if I boop your snoot?
Yes?
Hey,
So I can boop your snoot?
No!
Okay.
sorry, Krebs. Would you want to say something?
I just said hello to Gawel. That's it.
Okay, yeah, that was it.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I copy the exact well met that was first said to me by first time. Okay. Yeah, I just go, well met.
I really enjoy this character concept. This is excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Morag, as you now recognize her, stands. Okay, so what happened to Martyn? Did they come for him too?
Yeah, they just grabbed him out of a tavern.
They didn't hurt him, did they?
Not that we could see, but they took him away in the coach.
Oh God.
Well, they weren't very they weren't very friendly about it. So I mean,
They're taking him to a camp just outside of town. I chatted with his brain.
You did what?
Chatted with his brain.
I'm going to say in Mimosa's brain like this.
I'm gonna roll for unarmed to hit Eistla. The 17 hits.
It does.
And so it begins.
Open-handed slap.
Yeah. Not gonna roll for damage though,
Okay.
obviously.
Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
For invading my privacy.
I can only speak to you. Jeez.
Okay, so what did he say anything else? He said to come find me, right?
He said to come
What else
find
did he
you.
say?
He said that he's been framed, and that you could vouch for him, or that you could help somehow.
Okay, so here's the skinny. Martyn and I are partners in business, and our business sometimes means we work with some dangerous customers, and those customers sometimes they get a little upset when things don't quite go to plan. And what that means here is it looks as though something went wrong and they're looking for someone to blame. And it seems that it's us. So I don't know what it is they want. Okay, right. Any of you cops?
No. Why does everybody keep asking me that?
That one looks like a cop.
Yeah, she kind of looks at
That
Graeyam.
one
and
looks
says, you
like
look
a
like
cop."
a cop.
Crebbs looks to Morag and goes, "No, I myself am often partaken in the business." Taps his nose.
You want to roll persuasion for me?
Oh, I mean, I don't really, but I can give it.
You want to try and see what happens, yeah?
Just some kind of double entendre I don't get.
Yeah, I don't get what's happening. Is she an interior designer? A tailor?
Okay, what a 12.
It's like
12. Okay, that's fine. She kind of looks at you. All right. Okay, I can be honest with you, look, because I don't really know what else I can do at this point.
I don't find the rat baby very convincing.
Martyn's a fixer.
Who's a rat baby?
Rat baby, little guy.
Sorry.
Little rat baby.
For the record, I don't know who this is. This bird person, I've never seen her before.
Hello.
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 Ew.
Well met.
So
Well met.
So this guy here in the plaid, he came after me, and I immediately figured who it was, and I would have been killed if not for this bird here who did me the great service of stabbing him in the back, quite bloodily, I should say. Too.
I did not stab him in the back, I would like to say.
Oh, what did you do?
I pushed him to the ground, held a claw over his throat, and told him that if he told me his name, I would let him live. And then he said his name. And those were his last words, because then I slashed him across the throat with a knife.
Okay, that's much more
and
dramatic.
he died.
Yeah, so
I think Krebs elbows one of the I think probably Acer and goes, "You might want to do a bit of a spring cleaning."
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the first time I've had to do that. Okay. I'm a fixer. I'm a smuggler. Martyn's a fixer. We were working for this Highland clan who were looking for an artifact. We don't know anything about it. All I know is that they wanted us to smuggle in some trinkets from across the border. We did that last week. They paid. Everything seemed to go fine. And then the next thing I know, this fucker over here is in my door trying to chop me up with an axe. And then this wonderful woman comes in, cuts his throat, bleeds him all over my house, which is still better than it being my blood. I'm not going to lie. But this puts me in a difficult position because it seems there's been a misunderstanding, but it's a misunderstanding bad enough that they sent some fucking mercenary after me, who then just took it on himself to kill me. So you said they captured Martyn. They didn't try to kill him?
No, they took him.
Right.
They clashed him and some half-orc.
Right. They must want something from him. Okay. We were
I'm gonna start prestidigitation the floor.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a
And
Mm-hmm.
Pry goes, if anybody has qualms about messing with dead people, please look away. And Pry goes to search the body.
I think
Pry, you're checking out the body, right?
Yeah.
No, because as soon as he starts getting close, Gharial makes the sound of a dog growling and a cat hissing at the same time.
Fucking hell.
No, mine.
Pry just stops and goes, "Oh, that's impressive."
Mimosa puts a hand on Pry's shoulder. Like, leave her alone.
Are any of you familiar with Kenku? They're pretty rare, so...
I actually kind of want to say that there was a Kenku, not Polyp, though, who came to Alba with Mimosa.
Okay, yeah. In that case, Mimosa, you probably have dealt with them before. You kind of know their proclivities. Yeah, you probably are somewhat wary of them because they're very kind of strange to a lot of people, and that can be quite apart from the fact that Polyp is already quite threatening. Gharial is already quite threatening. They are already kind of strange and alien to a lot of people, which can make them difficult to connect with.
So Crebbs has information about underworld stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably has heard at least of Gharial's exploits. You at least would know about the word taker from that.
Oh, yeah,
Description.
yeah. And when you hear the description of the killing that just happened, that kind of clues you into who this is.
When Crebbs realizes who this is, the word taker, he doesn't say anything. He just slowly, without realizing he's doing it, taps his own nose.
Bry's just going to go, do you still need something from the corpse? I just wanted to check if he has anything that would help us.
I don't need it. And I just kind of kick it over to you.
Thanks. So, yeah, Bry searches the corpse.
You know him?
He doesn't look familiar. He is. He has a thick. He's a kind of a thick, heavy-set, bearded man, with rather old and battered armor that probably was once very expensive, but hasn't been repaired
Wait.
or replaced in a long, long time.
I think I know this man.
Do you actually? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm guessing I'm fairly local to the area, actually.
Yeah, Eistla's local, I think. Yeah. So this guy. I guess when you get a closer look at his face, you start to realize who he is. He is a notorious bandit leader from the area who was thought to actually have kind of fallen off the radar years ago, like either gone into retirement or been killed and never found or something along those lines, as is often the case with bandits. But this guy, it seems, survived, and he's been working as a mercenary for one of the Highland clans. He was obviously used for this because he knows the area. On his body, you find damaged studded leather armor, the thick plaid he was wearing around him, a pouch of about 50 gold coins. It was obviously his payment for the job. A short sword, a buckler shield, and a broken bow across his back. That's it. No personal effects, nothing. He was very on the job.
Sorry. Yeah, fine, I leave the stuff. It's nothing.
You don't want to take the gold?
Partic-
The money?
I want to take the brooch.
The brooch? Sure, yeah. The brooch is a little dirty, needs a clean, but it's otherwise in good condition. A small...
Prestidigitation.
Sorry?
Prestidigitation.
Okay, yeah. It is a gold circle with a silver sword piercing through the middle of the circle, and it's quite thick with a thick pin at the back, used for holding on very heavy fabrics.
I think Crebbs would like to try and stealthily take the gold, sort of, so no one notices.
Okay. Roll stealth for that, because I think that's a... Oh, roll sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, interesting.
Yeah. It does.
So, 10.
10.
Well, my passive wisdom is 15, so I definitely saw that. But
Yeah, you definitely did.
Mimosa doesn't care.
Yeah, 10 doesn't get you very far. Yeah, you go to sneakily take the pouch of gold, but as you pull it up, it splits and the gold spills out onto the floor.
Ha ha ha!
As everyone stares at Crebbs, he just taps his nose again.
Gharial is basically just a crowd of laughter, and then says, "Silly rat baby."
Mimosa bursts out laughing.
Having witnessed all of this going on, will you do this? Morag has turned to Graeyam, who seems to be the only one with his head on his shoulders here.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Hey, I've been doing fine.
You seem okay. Oh yeah, Eistla too. I guess the two of you are just kind of standing to one side. You two seem to be more or less present, centered at least. Do you want to help me get my friend?
Yeah, of course. That's why I'm here.
Great. He's been framed. I want to make this very clear. Like, I work very closely with Martyn, and whatever they're accusing him of, he didn't do it. It seems they think we stole something, and we definitely didn't. We finished the job, we paid for it, we walked away about a week ago like nothing was wrong, and then all of a sudden, this. So, I want to get them off my back. First of all, I cannot have assassins coming to my door every other day. And I can't leave Martyn hanging like that. I have to help him. which means I've got to find proof that we didn't do it.
So it's not as simple as we have a good idea of where they took him. Could we just go spring him?
That would work, but that wouldn't get them off our back, so it might be a good way to buy some time, but it wouldn't solve the problem. I think... Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, so here's my thought. There aren't many people in this town, and anyone who works extra legally, we probably already know who they are. And none of them will have done this. So this means it was someone else, someone from outside. Alright, so I think what we got to do is get more information from the soldiers. I can't go near them, not right now. I think they're trying to kill me. So, like, can you do this for me? I promise you I can make it worth your while.
Okay.
No.
Well, hey, she's
I'm
talking
with
to
the
me.
birds.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I promise you I can make it worth your while. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but we're doing pretty well business-wise. I can pay you well.
Business-wise, and you said that you're criminals?
Oh, that's what it is.
Not all laws
Oh, that
are
makes
good.
sense.
And in this case, these laws are kind of silly, so we would just work around them
Oh.
to give the people what they need.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Graeyam
Hey, you get
looks
it.
at
You get
Crebbs
it.
very carefully and then taps his nose very deliberately.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Krebs says nothing and just sort of shrugs.
Please, I can pay all of you when this. If we free Martyn and we manage to get these people off our back, I can pay all of you. And
I take pay up front.
okay, yeah, I can do that. And
Say interesting.
Chrysanthemum.
Oh. Chrysanthemum.
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 I can pay you half up front, half when we're done. How's that sound?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I just need to know you're not going to run away with my money, is all.
I don't want money.
Oh, interesting.
Can we have her money?
I tell you what,
I
you
don't
can
care.
split her share. For every one of you who wants to get involved, I'll pay you all handsomely, and trust me, I can make this. I can be a very valuable ally.
Yep, first half up front. I am definitely in need of cash.
All right.
Heck.
Okay.
Are we leaving now then? For that?
It's up to you, but she offers to pay you 200 gold pieces for the whole job, 100 up front.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Each, by the way, that's each. That's not.
that sounds
the
good.
whole
I'm pretty broke.
Yeah, 100 gold.
I mean, that's probably more than Eistla's ever seen in her life.
Yeah, 100 gold pieces each. And I think this is maybe a moment for Eistla where she's starting to realize that this could be quite profitable.
Only
people pay a
100
lot of
gold
money.
pieces.
Like collecting all the gold in her village was like 10 gold maybe.
So,
Yeah,
she wants us to go talk to the soldiers and find out more.
or whatever you can to find out more information. Whether you could spy on them, you could go talk to them, you could try and murder them, whichever approach you prefer. But yeah, she wants you to find out more information on what happened to the thing that they're being accused of having stolen.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And where's she going to be while this is going on? Because I'm guessing she's probably moved to a safe house or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to some contacts of mine and find somewhere safer to be. I'll also be digging up information. I'll send a messenger if I find anything.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I understand the cost of business. I know you got to get paid. Everyone's got to get paid. Trust me. But
Yeah, pay.
Hey, I'm
yes,
not in this
please.
for money.
yeah, so she.
Speaking of which. Speaking of which. My pay.
Yep. So, what would you like?
Say something interesting.
Corona.
You, little one. Not rat baby.
Yeah.
Oh.
Would you like some interesting words?
Yes. Yes.
When there is an eclipse in the sky, the ring of light that appears around the eclipse we call the corona.
Corona. This will do.
Excellent.
It's also a drink for criminals.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Let's get that Corona sponsorship.
You mean? You mean one of those? And I pat my nose.
So
A napkin, Eistla? A napkin?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
So she reaches under her bed, which is at the far end of the one room here, and pulls out a safe box, unlocks it, opens it, and produces discrete bags of gold, obviously pre-prepared, because you could tell in her line of work she wants to be able to pay people quickly and efficiently. She produces bags of gold for each of you, and just kind of hands the extra one, the one for Gharial to Graeyam. He said, "You look trustworthy. I'll trust you to decide what you want to do with that."
No. Give to Rat Baby. I love Rat Baby.
Okay, yeah, I can see your money. And hands it to Crebbs.
Aw.
Thank you.
Ew, you have an admirer.
I think as whilst this is happening during this exchange, while he's taking the money, Crebbs hands Morak his business card.
I'm just staring at the entire set.
And it just says Crebbs Daintley, artificer, doesn't do crimes, and it's just the bit of Crebbs tapping his nose.
All right, so
May I have one, sir?
What?
May I have one, sir? It's a little boy's voice asking for one.
Asking for one of what? Oh, yes, of course you can. Oh, that's dark as fuck. Right, yeah. I give the tiny child-voiced bird person with a knife a business card.
And she puts it in a pouch that you can only see briefly, but it appears to have a tiny skull, which looks like a monkey skull, and you have no idea how she got that out here. And 5 beans, and some other things that look less savoury, but it's not there long enough for you to really piece it together.
Okay.
And are we leaving now?
it's up to you. But Morag does kind of suggest that maybe you should leave. I got to clean up here and get rid of this before anyone else shows
When
up.
we're leaving, Gharial stops, gets the knife, cuts the throat out of the person who I'm gonna
Jeez.
tell you listeners that this guy was called Hell or High Water, and she killed him literally so that she could have that name because it's very good. It's a very good pun.
It's a very good pun name.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Or Hellor.
So Hellor died for that, but at least this means our dwarf friend is okay. And she eats it. The throat. She eats the throat.
She's a corvid, that's what they do. So are you heading out now, or do you want to do something else before you leave?
I'm good to head out now.
Okay, right. Who wants to take the lead here? Who wants to be the kind of the for the purpose of this walk, I guess.
Well, Gharial,
You mean
while
march
they're
order?
walking, is making a is basically playing a marching band in the distance, but from her mouth. So it's a very disconcerting thing having a very distantile sound coming from a very specific close area, especially for people who don't have any kind of recording equipment.
Try just goes, I have to use a spell for that.
Yeah, let's go to the camp with our haunting child-voiced a bird-human jukebox, I guess. Lovely.
I love you, Rat Baby.
I love you too, murder bird.
Graeyam, I guess because you're the most inclined to sort of get a head start on this, and you're also kind of used to some level of respect and authority, you probably do kind of naturally adopt a sort of leadership position when you're walking around the place, even if others don't necessarily recognize it.
Works for me.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. As you get closer, the woods start to thicken a little bit. There's actually a forest kind of opens up. And one thing that those of you local to Alaba know is that the forests are pretty dangerous places. They are home to all kinds of creatures and people that don't take very well to others intruding on their territory, but unavoidably there are many like trade routes and main roads that go through these woods and are usually heavily patrolled by this or that mercenary group or town guard. What that does mean though is that this camp is either set up by people who are confident that they can handle themselves or don't know how dangerous these forests are. As you approach the edge of the woods, you see slightly off to the north, around the edge, around the kind of the border where the woods end. In the distance, you see a little encampment, a series of tents, and what looks like the coach that passed you outside the tavern.
I'd like to make a play here.
Okay.
I'd like to sneak around to the other side of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sabotage the coach.
Do you want to do it alone, or shall I tag along?
I'm not going to tell anyone that I'm doing this.
Okay.
I'm just going to go without saying anything.
Okay.
Do I need to roll something, and how do I do it on this? With
okay. If you click on the stealth one, that will automatically roll the stealth skill for you.
Okay.
Oh!
Oof.
Oh no.
That's a natural one.
Okay, so for those that don't know, when you roll a 1 on the d20, that's automatically a failure no matter how good your score is, and the failure often has unexpected consequences.
Oh.
So, Gharial, you actually do manage somewhat successfully to sneak around to the other side of the camp. You move through the woods quite stealthily, and no one knows you're doing this, so you just disappear into the woods and like, what the fuck is Gharial doing? And you make it to the other side of the camp, and as you kind of emerge from the woods, you trip over a tree root that's kind of jutting up at an awkward angle, and you fall and just kind of tumble down a small hill headfirst right into the middle of their camp.
I start making a baby crying sound and curl up into a ball.
How does everyone else react to this?
I think Graeyam is just like, there's a baby crying in that camp somewhere, and rushes ahead.
So I somehow made it worse.
Can I use this distraction to try and sneak around to have a little look, see if I can see the dwarf?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to try rolling stealth yourself?
Can I get advantage from the distraction of the giant crying baby bird?
All right, I'll allow it. Yeah, the distraction makes sense. Yeah.
I'll tag along with Crebbs.
Okay, yeah. Both roll stealth with advantage.
Advantage means you get to roll twice and take the higher number.
Yeah.
That was my first ever roll in a game of D&D.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
How did you find it?
It can only go uphill from here.
Yeah. It can't be worse.
I'd like in this commotion to try and sabotage the coach.
Okay, so what I want you to roll then in that case is sleight of hand. Unless you're planning on being very violent about it. If you're trying to sabotage it subtly so that it's not obvious, sleight of hand. If you're just trying to like destroy the coach, that's also going to draw a lot of attention. So it's up to you what approach you want to take.
I just want to like pull out some nails or something.
Yeah, okay. So roll sleight of hand. See if you can do that unnoticed. With advantage again for the distraction.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So
I'll roll another one.
Crebbs and Mimosa.
18.
Crebbs and Mimosa, they managed to sneak around the edge of the camp to the opposite side from the one that Gharial just fell into. And you've managed to get an angle here. You can see the camp from where you are. In the middle is a large... it's a series of tents, kind of in a circle, arranged in a circle, with various tables and crates in the centre, and a large tent with an open cage. The larger tent looks more ornate than the others, more comfortable. Obviously used to house someone important. The open cage next to it contains the two prisoners. Surrounding the camp are a series of much squatter, cheaper but hardier tents, the kind that a military would use. And there are various kind of supply crates and weapon stands and various other things scattered around, including places to repair weapons, polish armor, things of that nature. On the fire next to the cage is a bubbling cauldron of some sort of delicious smelling stew. And all of the guards are currently, weapons drawn, moving towards Gharial. With the exception of the largest one you haven't seen before, who wasn't travelling with the others. He is standing right outside the entrance to the tent and is looking around curiously, but doesn't seem to want to move. This guy is a large human, about 7 feet tall, bristling with muscles, a massive great axe slung across his back, bare-chested, but wearing thick armour on his arms and legs, with long blonde hair, grizzled beard, and kind of a very hardened, scarred look, hardened-looking, scarred face.
Is it He-Man?
No,
He-Man does not have armor on his arms and legs.
no, he's basically just in BDSM gear. So
Sorry, Helen. I didn't realize I'd upset the He-Man stands by my inaccurate
The
description.
he stands.
The He stands. Yeah. Oh, God, that's much better.
So, my gear, specifically the criminal background gear, says that I have a dark hood.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to utilize that.
okay.
When I rolled into a ball, I have used the hood and my cloak to hide my bird arms and legs and long beak.
Okay. Yep. I'll allow that.
And on top of the baby crying noise, I'm now playing a woman going, "Please, my baby, he's hurt, my baby's hurt."
You said you rushed in, right, following the sound. So are you just kind of moving in towards the camp, towards Gharial at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So is your weapon drawn, or are you just running in?
I think his weapon is probably just carried at all times because it's a Polyp.
Okay, so he doesn't stow it when he's on.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is
It's
his
a
weapon?
glaive.
Glaive.
Very large,
Yeah.
intimidating weapon. So yeah, you stumble into this scene. You step up to the edge of the camp. The guards at first don't see you because they're too distracted by Gharial, but one of them looks around and does notice you. Your weapon kind of held upright, I assume, in a non-threatening way.
Yeah.
Or are you wielding it ready to fight?
I think he has it in a somewhat ready position, but he's not charging and brandishing it.
Okay, so you're running in, holding your weapon, and he kind of turns around and taps his comrade on the shoulder and says, "Oi, who are you? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, get away from that person and that baby."
Wait, I know you. Weren't you back at the tavern?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
But what's with the baby? Leave that baby alone.
I don't know.
My
We're looking into
baby,
it.
my baby.
Okay,
please
there's a lot
help.
of things going on here. Please, I can't think.
I love my baby.
So they split off into two groups. Two of them move towards Gharial with their weapons out, and two of them move towards Graeyam.
Okay.
One of them kind of confronts you, James. I thought we told you to leave us alone. What are you doing here?
I just came here to help because this whole thing is just a big misunderstanding, and I think that we can clear it all up if you just give us a little bit more information, and then we help you, you help us, and nobody has to hurt any babies.
Okay, roll
My
persuasion.
baby.
Roll persuasion, but I'm going to say take advantage on that, actually, because they're kind of distracted and they're kind of stressed and they're just looking for some solution to this here.
All right. Great. It's a 7.
One of them kind of steps back and I don't know what's going
You
on
had
here.
advantage though, right?
Yeah, but they got the same result on both rolls.
Oh, I didn't
Both
realise
rolls
that
are
was 2
7.
rolls.
Okay, Gharial, what are you doing? Two of them are approaching you now with their weapons drawn. What's your move here? Are you going to kind of keep this facade up?
How close are they?
They're about 10 feet from you, I'd say.
Do they seem... Because I'm peeking out. Do they seem like they are actually going to stab?
No, they're more
Okay.
confused than angry. They're not really sure what's happening. They're not prepared really for a fight here. They're not looking to kill people. They're guards. They're doing their job. They're investigating, trying to figure out what's going on. And this is a very confusing situation. That's kind of where they're at emotionally right now.
I say in the same voice that I've been using. I go, will you help me and my baby? And you have to wonder where Gharial's gotten this amount of material from. The same
I was
voice
about to
saying
say,
Deeply
yeah.
concerning.
Yes.
It's
worrying, but
So, Pry, you said you followed Graeyam, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to back Graeyam up with another roll there? What angle do you want to take?
Actually, can I roll insight to
Yeah.
like guess what the baby actually is?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Never mind.
Nice. Nope.
It's not been a good day for rolls.
Yeah, it really
is
isn't.
it?
Yeah, you're
another natural one.
completely convinced it's a real baby,
Okay.
and that it is an urgent
So-
need of help.
So, actually, in this case, Pry is just going to go towards the baby crying and going like, I was going to make a case for the dwarf, but let's get this child first out of the way and.
Okay. Right, we'll resolve that in a moment. First, let's go back to Eistla. Eistla, you successfully sabotaged their coach. So you've pulled a couple of really important little nails out of where the wheels are. And you know it won't look like anything right now, but as soon as they start to get it back on the road, the wheels will just fall right off. So what do you want to do from there?
Coach. I'm gonna try and sneak up so I can get a view of what the hell is happening with all the other people.
Okay, I'm going to say you can probably join the other two who are hiding there. So what are the three of you? What's your angle here? Because they don't know you're there. They've more or less moved away from the center of the camp towards the with the commotion. All that's left is this one large fellow standing in front of the tent. He's not really paying much attention to you because he's too curious trying to figure out what's going on without leaving his post.
He doesn't. Okay, he doesn't really seem to care that much.
He's not.
Or
He's not that bothered. But you get the sense like that he's still on guard. Like he's not just going to ignore you if you walk in. But if you're subtle, he might not see you. So if one of you got a D, which one of you ever had the highest stealth roll?
That was me,
The most success
17.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to move into the camp without drawing his attention,
I've got something I could try that would maybe help. Let me just check this. Okay, then I would like to use magical tinkering again on a small rock. I wanted to continuously emit my choice of an odor or non-verbal sound. In this case, it's going to be like a really big angry dog growling. I'm going to throw this rock sort of to the side of this man so he's kind of distracted by it, and then I'm going to try to sneak past.
Could you roll, let's say, athletics for me?
Athletics?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Oh, it's a shame. That's one I'm not good at. 16. Oh, 17.
Solid. Yeah, you managed to
Solid.
throw that
That's
rock
right.
a good distance past, because where you're hiding right now, it's the reason I chose that, and again as an explanation for Elodie and the people at home. Thrown weapons in this are based on strength, and athletics is a strength-based skill. So my logic was that what Crebbs is trying to do is throw this rock past where this guard is stationed to distract him so he looks away. He has to be able to throw it far enough without hitting him. So the idea is that athletics is a combination of your strength and your skill in using a strength-based ability. So throw it far, that's what athletics is.
Yeah, that's fine. Throw it.
Okay, great.
Minus.
Yeah, the stone lands in a patch of tall grass on the other side of the bodyguard's tent, the guard's tent, and he kind of looks around and kind of stares at it. And you can see him kind of considering stepping away as if to deal with the problem. He's currently not looking in your direction, though, so you can move into the camp if you'd like.
I would like to sneak past him, yeah.
Yep, so you can move on into the camp. What do you want to do when you're there? You're moving past the perimeter of tents, past the storage crates and various weapons caches towards the center where the main tent, the cage, and the fire are.
I'm going to... So there's one big tent, is there?
Yes, there's one big ornate tent in the center.
I think maybe head towards the big ornate tent, because that's likely to be where this poor fellow is kidnapped.
Well, you already know where they are. The prisoners are held inside the cage next to the tent. You can see them.
Oh, fabulous. I'll go towards the cage.
Yeah.
Prisoners then.
Okay, before we deal with that, let's return to Pry and Graeyam. So, Pry, you're moving towards what you think is a real baby. One of the soldiers kind of steps up to you and says, don't do that.
Pry, puts up his arms, slightly up and far away from, any of his gear, going, please, just let me help the baby, and we'll be out of your hair.
You can tell he's conflicted. On the other hand, it does seem like a baby, and really there's no good reason not to help a baby. But he's also it's my job to stop people coming in and just doing whatever they want. So you can tell he's wrestling with this dilemma in his head. Graeyam, are you making any moves to kind of push forward or to do something else here?
I just wanted to know if I can ask, go, please, and roll for persuasion myself.
Sure, yeah, you can do that.
Okay, this is one of my good skills.
Okay, good.
At least it's not a bot!
We should probably read
It's a
these results
6.
out loud for the...
We should read these rolls out, yeah.
Yeah, I rolled a 6 on a +4 persuasion skill.
So Pry just rolled a 6, which is a failure in this situation. The soldier just kind of steps up and just kind of starts to kind of put his arm up. It doesn't shove you, but just kind of pushes you back gently. So you just need a little distance. Let me think this out, okay? Meanwhile, the two guards are approaching Gharial, and they're getting quite close. Their weapons are drawn, but they don't look like they're going to kind of swing. One of them kind of reaches his sword out and kind of goes to lift the hood that Gharial's using to cover her face. Gharial, how do you react to that?
The moment that I feel any kind of touch, I am going to spring up for a sneak attack.
Huh. Okay. Right. Roll sleight of hand.
Shit.
Oh, should I not use my dagger sneak attack?
What I'm saying is this a special skill you have, or is this? I know what sneak attack is, but is there something that allows you to do a sneak attack in this specific situation? Because what I'm going to say is the way this will work. Okay, so again to clarify, sneak attack works when you catch an opponent off guard, when they're unable to properly defend themselves. So that can be you stab them from behind, you catch them when they don't know you're there, they're sleeping, they're paralyzed by a spell, something along those lines. In this case, what I'm going to say, because they don't know that you're armed, they are prepared to defend themselves, but not necessarily against this specific threat. So if you are able to successfully get a successful sleight of hand roll, I'm going to say you can use this moment of surprise to catch them off guard and get your dagger out quickly. If you fail the roll, you don't get your dagger out quick enough and they're able to defend themselves. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Okay. So if you roll sleight of hand, then we'll see what we get here. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, that works.
That's 17.
You jump and you move with such speed that you're able to get your dagger out real fast and you get under their guard. So roll your sneak attack.
So
Elodie rolled a 25, which is a successful hit. If the word dagger underneath that is in red when you highlight it. If you click that, it will roll your damage automatically for you.
Sorry. I get it.
Okay, yeah. It's a little confusing, I know, sorry. Still getting used to the system. So, Elodie, you have rolled a 6 for sneak damage and a 5 for your standard damage. Now, the way a sneak attack works is you do your standard attack, which hits. For extra damage, you also roll another die to give you additional damage on top of that. So you rolled 11 points of damage. You get your dagger under this guard's guard, and you manage to find a gap in his armor and slide your dagger right between his ribs. So yeah, he yells in surprise, "Oh God, you're not a baby!" He looks up at you in surprise for a second and just falls back in bed. Hi there, Martyn here. Just so you know, if you like what you heard here today, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/thehaven. That's TheHeaven. You can support us financially if you'd like, or you can just follow us there for updates to the podcast, fan art, and all various other things. And you can also find us on Facebook at The Haven Pod. If you go ahead and like our page, you'll get regular updates whenever we have anything new to tell you about. There you can also find a link to our Discord server. So give that a click. Come join us and talk about what you liked about the podcast. Thank you.
Music for today's episode comes courtesy of RebeccaETripp, Garpocalypse and Dark Flame Wolf at OCRemix.com, from the indispensable Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.filmmusic.io, and Indie Haven's very own, the inimitable Elodie Cunningham at chemicalwordsmith.bandcamp.com. Specific tracks and attributions and licensing information can be found in the description below. And from me, thank you very much for listening.
I'm here.
Yay,
Hello,
everyone's back. Okay,
Hello.
let's return.
Oh, that's a good place for piss.
A good place for piss.
Fantastic.
You're
Okay.
going to have to keep some of this in, and the episode title has to be called A Good Place for Piss, right?
I don't have a title yet, so maybe. Right.
Damn it.
Shall we get back into it?
Yep.
Right. So you were heading off towards the camp to the west of the town, right?